Duskayan, shadows of a forgotten flame. In the misty embrace of England's countryside, where rolling hills whispered secrets to the wind, lived a young woman named Paloma. It was the spring of her 18th year, a time when the world felt ripe with possibility. Paloma, with her wide-eyed innocence and a heart full of dreams, resided in a quaint village near the bustling town of Bath. Her days were simple, helping her family with chores, tending to the garden, and occasionally venturing into the market for supplies. She had just come of age to withdraw her modest savings deposit from the local bank, a small sum saved from odd jobs meant to fund her aspirations of perhaps studying art or traveling beyond the familiar horizons. One crisp afternoon, the market buzzed with life. Vendors hawked their wares under colorful awnings, the air thick with the scent of fresh bread, spices, and blooming flowers. Paloma wandered through the stalls, her basket swinging lightly on her arm, searching for fabrics and groceries. It was there, at a modest shop selling trinkets and household goods, that fate wove its first thread. The shopkeeper, a handsome young man of 20 named Elias, caught her eye. His smile was warm, like sunlight breaking through clouds, and his eyes held a spark of mischief. He was tall, with tousled dark hair, and a voice that carried the lilt of the local accent. As Paloma haggled over the price of a bolt of cloth, Elias leaned in closer, his words laced with charm. "You drive a hard bargain, miss," he teased, his gaze lingering a moment too long. By the time she paid, he had slipped a scrap of paper into her hand, his phone number scribbled in hasty ink. "Call me sometime," he whispered, "if you fancy a chat." Paloma's cheeks flushed as she hurried home, the number burning a hole in her pocket. That evening, curiosity won over caution. She dialed, and his voice answered, smooth and inviting. What began as innocent conversation blossomed into something deeper. They talked about everything and nothing, the mundane details of their days, shared laughs over village gossip, dreams of escaping the small-town life. Elias spoke of his ambitions to expand his shop into a thriving business, while Paloma confided her love for painting and the world beyond England's shores. Hours melted away on the phone, nights stretched into dawn as they whispered secrets under the cover of darkness. Paloma would curl up in her bed, the receiver pressed to her ear, her heart racing with the thrill of it all. Slowly, inexorably, their words turned to affection. "I can't stop thinking about you," Elias confessed one night. Paloma felt a warmth spread through her, a feeling she had only read about in novels. They were in love, or so it seemed. Their calls evolved. Technology bridged the gap between them. Video calls became their sanctuary, a private world where inhibitions faded. In the glow of screens, they bared their souls, and more. Completely naked before each other, they explored desires unspoken, vulnerability turning to passion. Paloma was utterly enchanted, madly in love. She hung on his every word, did as he asked, lost in the intoxicating haze of young romance. But shadows loomed. Elias invited her to his house, a secluded cottage on the outskirts of town. "Come to me, Paloma," he urged. "We need to be together." Fear gripped her. Her family had begun to notice her secretive behavior, the late-night whispers, her distracted demeanor. Questions turned to suspicions, and Paloma, torn between love and duty, refused. Heartbroken, she severed contact, blocking his number and vowing to move on. The silence was deafening, but necessary. Weeks passed, and life attempted to reclaim its rhythm. One fateful day, Paloma returned to the market, her resolve firm. But Elias was waiting. He spotted her from afar, his eyes dark with unresolved longing. Before she could protest, he grabbed her arm, pulling her into a dimly lit storage room behind his shop, away from prying eyes. Panic surged through her. "What are you doing?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Words were exchanged. Pleas, arguments, rekindled flames. In that moment of weakness, boundaries shattered. Something happened that shouldn't have. An intimate encounter born of desperation and unresolved passion. It was over quickly, leaving Paloma dazed and worried as she slipped away. Time revealed the consequences: nausea, fatigue. A test confirmed her fears. She was pregnant. The world crumbled. The ground seemed to swallow her whole. Trembling, she called Elias, her voice breaking as she shared the news. Disbelief met her words. "That's impossible," he snapped. "You're lying." Desperation clawed at her. "Marry me," she begged. "It's the only way." But he refused, his tone cold. "I'm already in a relationship," he admitted, shattering her illusions. Betrayal stung like 1,000 needles. Depression wrapped around her like a fog. Her family discovered the truth soon after. Whispers turned to outrage. Paloma was confined to the house, forbidden from the market, her freedoms curtailed. Shame and isolation consumed her. In her darkest hour, a dear friend, wise and compassionate, named Clara, stepped in. Sensing Paloma's despair, Clara whisked her to a discreet clinic in a nearby city. There, in the sterile quiet, they confided in the doctor. After careful counsel, the decision was made: an abortion. It was a harrowing procedure, one that left scars not just on her body, but on her soul. Paloma emerged changed, vowing to erase Elias from her life forever. Years flowed like a river, carrying Paloma forward. She built a life in England, marriage, perhaps children of her own, a career in the arts she once dreamed of. Now, at 55, in the quiet of her home, memories resurface unbidden. The laughter of those late-night calls, the thrill of forbidden love, the pain of betrayal, they haunt her. Tears come easily, a quiet lament for the girl she was. "I made such a big mistake," she whispers to the empty room, regretting the choices that altered her path. Yet, in the tapestry of her life, this chapter, though tragic, taught her resilience. Love, she learned, could be a beautiful storm, but one must weather it with eyes wide open. And so Paloma carries on, her heart wiser, her spirit unbroken.